Hello dear friends, welcome to another video of the Never Do Through the GUI what you can do through the CLI channel. I am Vangelis Prokopiou and you are watching why you should learn the Linux command line MySQL E. This will be a multifaceted video. We will see another example of the power that the command line provides us. Plus we will learn some information regarding MySQL, the database server, and our communication with it. So let's get into the video and let me describe you the context of the video of what we are going to do. So let me close this up and let's come here. I have here a table in a test database and we have a table called users, and these are the contents of our users. If we select, you will see that we have 13 records with the names and the gender. So let's imagine that what we want to achieve is the following. We have a competition where all the women that participated within the first 10 participants that registered in our competition are winning a prize. And now we want to count how many women are included in the first 10 participants. This is what we want to do, is to count how many women are included in the first 10 participants. So maybe the first thing that we would try to do is the following. We would say that we want, let me zoom in as much as possible. We want to select and count. What we want to count will be the gender from users, and we want to limit 10 because we want the first 10 participants. If we run this query, we will get this count, the 13 women. Let's come here though and let's see what we can achieve through the command line. Before we start with the command line, of course, the most common, let's say, way of communicating with our database server is Php Myadmin. I'm sure you all know, you're familiar with Php Myadmin. If we come here, for example, you will see that we can log in, and here we have all our databases and we can do various stuff. This is our database with the users, etc., etc. So the most common way of communicating with our database is through Php Myadmin. But of course, since we want to use the command line and we like the command line, and there are a lot of cases where the command line is on a one-way street, we want to try to communicate with our server through the command line. So what we can do is use the MySQL client, and if we run the MySQL client, we will connect to our server. So now we can run various commands like show databases, and we will see our databases. We can say use test, for example, and now we can say show tables, and we will see the tables in test. But there is another way which may come in handy very, very much, and this is using again the MySQL client. But if we check this out, if we check out the help, you can see here, if we search, there is this flag, this option, the E flag or option, which stands for execute, and of course we can execute a command on the database server. So we will try to use this. Let's say MySQL -e, and now we want to execute a command. Let's try show databases, and yes, we have our databases. Now let's try to select the users of the test database through this command. So the first thing we have to do is to specify the database that we want to use. So we will say use the test database, and then we can say select star from users, for example, to check our users. As you can see, we are communicating very nicely through the command line with our server, and we are executing commands and we are getting results back. So let's now try to reproduce what we did through this program, and to check out how many women are included within the first 10 registrants. Of course, the ones that are paying attention will see that here we have 13 is our result, which by default cannot be correct, because by default we are limiting to 10 registrants, and yet we are getting 13 back. We'll see about this. Let's come here to the terminal and try to do the same thing. But before we do the same thing, instead of using here the test database, we can define this outside the query, and we can do it by providing the D flag and saying that we want to use the test database. So capital D stands for database, which is the same as this command. So let's revert back to the D, and we want to select star from users. Let's see, we're still working. The query is executed. Okay, so now let's count the women. We will say select star from users, limit 10, and we will count through the command line utilities that we have at our disposal in the command line. So we will say here grep female, and we see that we get these results, and we can count them by piping the result to this program. And as you can see, we have 6 results. So we have 13 results here and 6 results here. Something is going wrong, as we said, and as I said previously, by default this result is wrong. We cannot have 13 women in the first 10 registrants. The max number of women we could have would be 10, of course. So this query is wrong, and we have to fix it. But what I wanted to show you is that at the first glance this may not be obvious. This may be something that we did not notice, and this is a wrong query, but the problem was discovered here at the command line, where we used our command line utilities. What we just did was select all the first 10 registrants, and then we filtered out with grep, and we counted with the WC. So let's come back here and let's try to fix this query. And of course, what we have to do is to count the gender on a subset of the total users. So what we will say is that we want to select and count the gender from, and here we have to select a subset of the users, and this subset is select gender from users limit 10. So we are selecting the first 10 users, 10 registrants as u, let's say, where u dot gender equals female. And if we run this query, what we will get is 6, the same result as you can see. We get 6 here and we get 6 here. So what we could have missed here in this straightforward query with the wrong result was discovered easily in the terminal with this classic command line manipulation of our data. So this was one point that I wanted to stress, the way we can use the MySQL client, and we can execute commands on our database without even entering the MySQL, the database context with MySQL client. We can do it directly on our command line, and then we can use the data from the database just like it is normal data, just like it is normal input. Now, to stress this point even further, I will provide a bonus point, a bonus example on how we can use this command line interface in order to do other useful stuff. And what is the other usual stuff that we can do? I will provide another example, and that example is saving our database data easily to a CSV, for example, file, to give it somewhere else or to further manipulate it. So we will see how we can achieve this, how we can extract our database data to a CSV file. So let's come back here, and we will not limit our users, but we will select them all. And as you can see, we have selected them all. And now what we can do is we can pipe this and we can remove the gender to remove the first column, as you can see. So we have the pure results from the database, and now what we have to do is dump them to a file. So let's redirect to, let's say, users.txt. Let's see the users. This is our file. Of course, this is not a CSV file, but we have a little bit of progress. So let's remove this file and retry. And what we will do is, let's see again our result. Now we have to fix the way the data is outputted. So what we will do is we will pipe this to awk, and we can manipulate the data, how the data is displayed in awk. So we can say that we want, for example, to print the first field. If we do this, we get the ID. Then, for example, we can print the second field. And now we have the ID, and appended we have the name. And then we have, let's say, the third field, which is the gender. But of course they are appended to each other, and this is not the CSV format. But what we can do is, of course, add some delimiters here, and now if we run this, you will see that our CSV is ready. So what we have to do is redirect this output to our users.txt, and now if we cut the users, you will see that we have a CSV file. Let's use Vim, and as you can see, we have a very nice CSV file which we can provide somewhere else as a data source. Well, this was the video that I wanted, this was the info that I wanted to share with you in this video. Let me put the command here again in order for you to be able to see it. And as I said, this was all the info that I wanted to share with you in this video. If you enjoyed this video, you can hit the like button and you can share your thoughts on it in the comments. Moreover, if you like the content of this channel, you can subscribe by clicking the penguin that you see on your screen. Thank you for watching and have a great day.